we have a duo of KDS tactics to show you. Don't know what that is, but let's jump in and see. So today's tactic is called Goals for Fun X KDS. I don't know who or what KDS is or stands for. These two tactics that I'll show you today and tomorrow or the next time I have a video out, they are both by the same person, Carl Dariquam. I apologize if I'm butchering that name, but I don't know where the S is or the D is, so maybe the Dariquam. But we're going to take a look at them and see how they do. They were funky shapes, they were funky names. Goals for Fun is definitely something I want to check out. So we're going to check it out with our three teams of Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Premier League as always, and our championship side of Ipswich Town. So with that said, let's just dive into the Premier League and see how they did. Well, Goals for Fun, I mean, you got 95 for Liverpool, you got 67 for Aston Villa. However, yeah, the Goals for Fun also kind of applies to the other team. I mean, Liverpool get to the Carabao Cup semi-finals through Aston Villa 6-3. Wow, but not a tough run there. But you do lose out in the semi-finals. You lose out in the FA Cup fourth round against Chelsea. And you get to the semi-finals of the Europa League, unfortunately losing out, not by a lot, but still losing out to Atletico Madrid. So overall, yeah, this did not work all that well for Liverpool. I think gonna have a feeling this is definitely a tactic that you need to have hands-on with. You need to have the right players with. I don't know who they tested it with. There was no information, no description, but this one didn't work for Liverpool all that well. Squad-wise, 37 goals for Nunez, though. That is definitely working. 20 for Mohamed Salah. Assist, 23 for Salah. Szoboszlai with 21. And then average rating, of course, Salah with a 7.50. And as we switch our sights to Aston Villa, of course, we saw the 3-6 loss in the Carabao Cup fourth round. They got to the FA Cup fourth round in a replay. 0-2 against Luton is where they drop out. Getting to the quarters, though, of the Conference League against Fenerbahce, you lose out there, unfortunately. So yeah, overall, if I've got to scroll down here, it didn't work. They got relegated with 33 points. I mean, they were drawing Bournemouth and Wolves, but still, it didn't work at all. But now again, I'm not saying that this is a bad tactic. It just did not work for these teams. You definitely have to have your hands on in them. But when I get to the Aston Villa squad, 27 goals for Ollie Watkins is still pretty nice. 17 for Diaby, assists 15 for Diaby there. And average rating, you get a 7.05 for Diaby as well. Data Hub, I mean, they are up there in the attacking and the fouls against per game, but just not the numbers that we used to see. And the defensive pieces are all shifted around. The conceded per game is definitely low, but all these possession won and things like that, they're all up in there that just usually aren't there, which is nice to see to a degree, but 2.5 goals per game, 1.66 conceded, and 1.53 XG against. And as we switch to Aston Villa, yeah, their attacking side was really woeful, of course. Defensively, again, the possession won, and the opposition passes per defensive action are through the roof, as are shutouts. However, conceded per game, XG per game is insane. And then as we switch to goals per game, 1.76, 2.95 conceded, 2.47 XG against. Ouch. Now, of course, we're going to have to go for this screen on the Premier League stats, but Liverpool with 1.89 points per game, Aston Villa all the way down, drawing with 16th place, 0.87. That hurts. But most goals, 95 for Liverpool, do top the list, amazingly enough. Aston Villa with 67, fewest shots against, Liverpool in 6th with 399. Most possession, 63% for Liverpool, Aston Villa with 58. Those are still pretty high for them. Most dribbles made, Liverpool in 8th with 619. Best pass completion is 89% down to 88 for Aston Villa. And most shots for 575 for Liverpool. That's pretty low. Aston Villa with 468. I will say 575 compared to 95 goals. It's actually not a bad percentage there. But now this one was such a mixed bag for the Premier League teams. How did it do for our championship side? Well, 8th place. I mean, I guess it's better than the relegation fight. However, you do miss out on the playoffs by a little bit at least. You could make those up if you took control of this yourself. I always say if you take control of this yourself, do your own shouts during matches, during your own changes, during matches, transfers, training, things like that. You could definitely do better than this. 70 points, you could easily bring that up into the playoff picture and then see what happens from there. This time around, though, it just didn't work for Ipswich. And then a not great domestic run. Carabao Cup second round in penalties to Millwall, you're out. And then the FA Cup third round in replay against Bristol City. So yeah, overall, 8th place, we've definitely seen a lot better here. And the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, nah, not great. And it's reflected in the squad with very few green there, but 12 goals for Hurst is tops. 11 for Connor Chaplin. Assists 18 for Wes Burns, though. Leif Davis, yeah, wow, he is down. He's alienated, abysmal with nothing. One off the bench. But he gets that 7-5 nil. I don't know what's going on. The tactic just doesn't use him, I guess. But Wes Burns with a 7-3-2. So championship stats, 1.52 points per game for Ipswich in 8th. Most goals in 2nd, though, with 106. They still break that 100 mark. Most possession in 2nd with 60%. Dribbles made in 5th with 761. Best pass completion with 89%. And most shots were in 2nd with 671. But now, tactically, we can easily see why Leif Davis wasn't played. He's a DL. He's not there. There's no positioning there, so unfortunately for him. But a sweeper keeper in attack is where we start. 2 ball-playing defenders in defend. Halfbacks on the left and the right in defend, with a deep line playmaker sandwich in support in the middle. Wingers on the sides, attacking midfielders in the middle in support, and then an advanced forward in attack up front. So I can clearly see why Aston Villa, well, actually none of our teams really did all that well. With only 2 in the back and you still have the 2 halfbacks, you're still got a little bit of an opening for teams like Man City to just absolutely crush you. But mentality is positive. In possession, attacking width is wide, play out of defense, passing directness is shorter, tempo is standard, low crosses, run at defense and be more expressive. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the back line and roll it out. And out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. So overall, how did it do for our 3 teams? Well, clearly not great, but that back, whatever you want to call it, is not good for these teams. You definitely need something more solid. You've got attacking through the roof, but if you could figure out how to balance your defense with that, then you'd have an absolutely truly golden tactic, I think. But 106 goals for Ipswich Town in 8th place, that is pretty fantastic for that position. I mean, Liverpool, yeah, you still get Champions League next season, but 72 points is so low. 95 goals tying for first, but still so much room to grow. Aston Villa too. I definitely think that back section is such a problem, though, in this. I don't know if he, like I said, there was no description or anything. I don't know if he used it for a specific team. He wanted to test out the tactic or the shape or something. But in this case, it didn't work. You'd have to do a lot of finagling to get it to work, I would imagine. But that's it for me, Sevian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.